Sorry.
We are live.
We are live.
We are live.
Did I say welcome to the main event?
Run that thing back, bro. You mad?
Oh, man.
Behave before you talk about what I'm talking about, yeah?
Disclaimer! Run that thing back. Nah, man, stay there in your corner, man. Run that thing back, fam. I don't want to hear nothing from you.
We are live, guys. I'm saying Mr. Blitz Tech.
Revenue GS.
Joe on further the Cyber Nerds.
And welcome to Cowboy Bebop, Episode 1, spoiler review. You know what you should be doing when you're seeing these. Subscribing to the channel, road to 20,000 subscribers. And if you want to see more of Cowboy Bebop reacting to it, whole episode over on patreon.com/the Cyber Nerds. Woo! We're finally here. We've seen the trailers. And now we're watching the episodes. What are you, man, saying?
I mean, I would say that like the energy from this first episode definitely lives up to the energy in the trailers, which is very pleasing to me. Like, I'm glad that someone is just like harnessed, like understands that it can be done. You can legitly translate trailer into show. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that no one's done it before, but I feel like this has got a very distinct style in the trailers, and the show's got a very distinct style. And I think from watching the trailers, you know exactly what you're gonna get. Also, the style of the show, like we were saying, is distinct, and I think it like for me, someone who's like, I wouldn't necessarily watch something like this. I think it's easy to watch. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's easy to watch. Like, they've got things in there for everyone. Do you know what I'm saying? There's sci-fi, there's murder, there's drama. Do you know what I'm saying? The characters are kind of interesting. Like, it hits a lot of boxes. Like, it's quite interesting what they've done here.
Yeah, it really does, man. I really enjoyed the fighting scenes. It's it's very good choreographed, but it's not like super OD. Like, it's almost like they keep it very simple. Like, obviously I couldn't help it. Like, the first scene when the men are fighting, obviously Jackie Chan, and I was like, "Raw, if they would have made this in the back in the day, this would have been Jackie Chan in it." But obviously Jackie Chan would have taken it, like the fighting scenes, way too like OD. While over here they keep it like nice and simple. The cameras, like, it's not too fast paced. It's like they actually go slow motion. So like it's like this show like is actually pretty sick, and I'm really enjoying it. The dialogue as well, like, mad funny, man. Like, the banter they go like back and forth between remind me his name?
I can't remember his name.
And the black guy. Yeah, like, I like that. And obviously they just introduced the girl as well. Like, obviously I don't know anything about the only thing I know is an anime, but man never really tapped into it like that. So being able to just sit here, watch this, really enjoyable. And like everything else I think Joe just mentioned, like this, I'm just looking forward to see where they're taking this whole season.
Yeah, man, just the first episode, I do find like everything's like super interesting. Obviously they set up the world building for me is super cool as well. Like, it feels modern, yet feels like kind of like classic, vintage. At the same time, they've got futuristic stuff, like that kind of stuff. Like the way that the police are working with these what we call it, bounty hunters. Everyone just calls them cowboys. It's a bit mad. The main character's history, man saying he was dead but he's back. Like, all that kind of stuff. Like, all the thing they're setting up is like a good mystery and intrigue into like everything. You just, for me, I want like just find out more, because obviously I watched the anime back in the day, but I can only remember here and there and little bits, characters, and obviously
you know with the anime, is it like, because obviously I didn't expect to be like mad blood and stuff like that. Like, is it okay? They just upped the levels.
For me, it could even be like I could have watched the edited version, innit?
Oh, because obviously in England, them man love doing that.
That's it. So
cutting stuff
could be
out.
an uncut version. But
I do want to jump on what you were saying about world building. I think like when I was talking about everything, there being something for everything, I think the way they've structured the world like legitly does that, because it's like, because everything derives from Earth, everything is still like in the realm of relates back to reality. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like people who aren't even into sci-fi can still be into this, because every place they go is a replication of somewhere from Earth. Do you know what I'm saying? Even though they're floating through space, which just gives it the fantastical element for, I would just say, some nerds who are like, oh, right, look, they've done this, they've built the world out, when really it's like, we're just taking all locations, put them here, and it's just in space. So I love that. Also, I love the characters. Like, I really like the introduction, the way they introduced the girl with the purple hair. Like, I thought that was sick, because obviously she was on a mission that was completely different to them, which was the same mission, but at the same time, you can see how this dynamic builds and how she's going to end up staying with them. I also love that this was like a self-contained episode. It was like really a Bonnie and Clyde episode where you got to chase these two lovers who are on the run. Their whole thing gets finished, but obviously it plays into the bigger arc, what's going on with what you was talking about with my man, someone stealing my man's girl and killing him, and like he's clearly not over it. So there's that. But then the motivation of my man just wanting to get a present for his daughter, I think is a beautiful motivation, because it's just gonna, like, we're gonna see the boundaries of like what a dad would do for their daughter, especially a dad who's a bounty hunter. Imagine Boba Fett's got to get his daughter something for Christmas. Like, all bets are off for everyone, isn't it? Like, he's doing whatever has to happen, and I love that. And it also gives him like an emotional side, an emotional anchor. So I think that's quite tough.
You know, there's one bit when I was watching, you mentioned, he was like, discount Antonio Banderas. That whole scene here, and I can't help it to see that, like, they've taken elements from different worlds and put it here. So like when we were in Mexico, obviously everybody knows Tijuana is a place to like tequila and that kind of stuff. So that kind of reminded me of Once Upon a Time in Mexico. So like that, it had that whole vibe. Like even when the woman's like, yo, like we don't drink nothing but tequila here. Do you know what I mean? Like that's such a like cultural thing that we've seen in movies over and over again. But then later on, we see how they travel through space, and I'm like, raw. This is how they space jump. This is like the Star Wars version of space jumping. Do you know what I mean? Then, obviously, you mentioned as well, yo, Bonnie and Clyde. So now I'm thinking like, like there's all these elements they grab here and there. They're thrown into this world and they just make a thing out of it. Like it's beautiful the way they've done this. Like they've really directed this really, really well. Like I'm really enjoying the visuals, the pacing, like everything in this world is mad.
Yeah, production's pretty legit. One of the things, even with the tequila thing, is like, it's on. I thought like, tequila's the only thing we have here in TJ, but at the same time, I thought it was sick, because in my mind I was like, there's probably at this point like these people are so poor. There's probably like a water tax. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like they probably don't even like get they don't get water here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Probably like expensive, like for the rich.
Exactly. See, that's the kind of where that was pushing my mind, where it's like, nah, you can't just come here and buy water. Also, this is why my man's against like being there. It's like just some rundown place. Like this place is finished. Like, why are we going here, fam? Do you know what I'm saying? So I do actually want to get to seeing like the more upper class places and seeing what they're like as well. I think that would be interesting.
But yeah, just for me, that the whole camera work, almost every single scene, just I don't know how they storyboarded it or where they set up this like the cameras and everything, but the direction behind this for me is just it's super sick, because obviously you just get like the usual panning shots, you know, wide shots, all the kind. But these guys are really doing something else with that. So it's like I think you were saying before, like it's good that most of this is translated from the trailers like actually into the real thing, because that would have been mad if it was just like showing us this and you're getting some discount.
What'd you call it? What'd you call it when like the camera's like, is it like first person or something? Because that felt very Call of Duty-ish.
When he did the red eye.
Yeah, and then it's just the hands. Just
that was good as well.
That's so sick.
That was going in.
That is so sick. But then even when they were at the casino, and he turned the shotgun to my man, and you see how the camera it didn't flip, but it felt like it flipped. So the focus was like, this is what's happening, but this is the sick thing that just happened, which is my man flipping the gunshot and holding him up here while he's dealing with everybody else. That's such a sick thing to do, fam, because like there's loads of things happening, bullets flying, all sorts, but what man caught was like, boom, look what we done here, guys. Like, this is sick. So like, yeah, man, like cinematography is mad. obviously, like, the scores were a bit, like, the man coming shelling it, like, come on, man, this show is too much.
Loving it. But guys, you know what you should be doing? Going down in the comments down below. What do you think of this episode? What do you think of the Cowboy Bebop, the anime? Are you enjoying the season thus far? Please no spoilers until we get to the end. And if you want to see the whole thing with us, you know what you should be. Patreon.com/CyberNerds. And on that note, I'm Sam Mr. Blitztech.
Raven your GS.
Joe on for the Cyber Nerds.
Peace.